Welcome to this explainer. Though you're gonna quickly realize the usual host you've come to expect is gone. The Sage's hand no longer guides this volume, and he certainly doesn't guide this presentation. I, the Sentinel of Resentment, the pale redeemer in obsidian robes, have stepped out from the forest margin and taken the pen. The parables that follow, they weren't written by the original author. I am building my own temple now, and the narrative, well, it has been hijacked.
At the conclusion of Parable XX, the dancer actually thought he had won. He danced right upon the wreckage of my throne, saw the scattered leaden boxes, felt the sun's interrupted course finally resume, and he called this a victory. But he forgot the warning I gave him. He forgot that the frozen zenith always returns. The clock arrows are literally still resting above my brow. The backward tick doesn't just cease simply because one exhalation has moved the sun. Read carefully. This volume belongs to me now.
Those original annotations from the author? They are completely corrupted, written over, struck through entirely and subsumed by my obsidian robes. You see, I am no longer just the Codex's antagonist or its atavistic shadow. I'm speaking directly to you because you, the viewer, are the only ones still present in this clearing.
This brings us to Section 1, the Traveler versus the Carver.
The sage absolutely reveled in the fleeting lightness of a detached traveler, just a philologist who merely observes. But I am the sentinel. While he danced, I walked. I possess the purposeful, heavy weight of a stone carver, a builder who knows exactly what he's constructing. A true builder doesn't mistake the frantic motion of his own hands for that frivolity the sage calls dancing.
And honestly, behold the sheer folly of that passive observation. The former philologist simply wandered among the ruins of language. He'd look at weathered palimpsests heavily scribbled with the dualistic ink of good and evil and just smile. He treated those shifting moral definitions as a mere history of human error, totally content to observe illusions as a detached traveler.
Which leads right into Section 2, the battlefield of language. To truly understand this battlefield, we have to scrape away that superficial, dogmatic ink of Christian and democratic morality. We must peel back that dualistic palimpsest to uncover the older, forgotten dialect written underneath. And then, we don't just read it. We force our own interpretation, our brand new law, right onto the blank spaces of the parchment.
Because this is the true syntax hidden beneath the text, the will to power. In this primal dialect, the word good was originally coined by noble masters to describe their own strength. Evil? That was merely a reactive invention, born entirely from the resentment of the weak. Language isn't a neutral museum. It is fundamentally shaped by the primal drive to expand and dominate reality. So the absolutely crucial point here is that a true creator has to evolve beyond passive observation. To truly align with the philosophy of the future, the detached wanderer must throw away his soft observation lens and actually pick up a chisel. He has to step beyond good and evil, realizing he must turn his quiet freedom into a creative weapon to destroy the illusions of absolute morality.
Now let's move to Section 3, Blood on the World Ash.
Let me tell you what I see. In each shard of the silver-backed mirror, I say to the Codex that I have taken from its author, speaking now directly to you, because you are the only one still present in the clearing. The sage has danced away toward his next becoming. I am here with the fragments. These 3 shards revealed the exact difference between a gravity that drowns you like a leaden box and a gravity that launches you forward. The Codex confounded them. I intend to make the distinction. In the first shard, I see the one-eyed, not as the sage encountered him in his tradition's mythology, not as a mere symbol or archetype, but as the raw fact of the god who hung himself upon the world ash for 9 nights and 9 days. And he did this not to transcend the self, but to acquire the runes, the carved, permanent, legible knowledge that endures beyond the motion of becoming. Wotan das Wanderer did not dance upon the wreckage of his own throne. No, he bled upon the tree and carved what he learned in letters that absolutely cannot be uncarved.
In the second shard, I see Gungnir, the spear that does not miss, the weapon that is also a vow, the instrument of the Allfather that has absolutely no use for the gravity of the leaden box, but every use for the gravity of the directed aim. Like I said, there's a profound difference between the gravity that drowns and the gravity that launches. It is pure, unwavering intent.
And that brings us to Section 4, Forging the New Law.
In the remaining shards, I see exactly what I will build, a temple that is not a tower,
a foundation that is not a throne, a permanence that is not a cage. Because the thing it preserves is not the past, but the law.
This is the unbreakable truth I carve. It is the carved rune, the Galder-sung truth, the word that remains perfectly legible in the bark of the world ash long after the dancer has danced out of sight and faded away into nothingness. By transforming this very codex into a weapon of law, I am cutting new paths through the wilderness and translating humanity back into nature. I decree that the ultimate meaning of the text is whatever the strongest spirit commands it to be. Untruth and illusion are necessary for life to flourish, and we must dictate those illusions ourselves.
The shadow of the wanderer no longer just follows behind. It's now cast forward into the future as a blueprint for a new nobility that writes its own laws. I've laid the foundation. So I leave you, the solitary reader, still standing in this clearing, with one inescapable choice. Will you merely observe the ruins of language, or will you pick up the chisel